Welcome to HDTV. You're now rocking with your boy. Make sure you guys check out RNS Part 16 and Part 15 and the Game 1 NBA recap, the Heat vs. Bucks. And also we did a live stream Philly and Washington and LeBrownies and the Suns. Now, I went back and watched the Atlanta game. If you watch the stream, we basically streamed both Atlanta versus the Knicks and then Denver. No, not Denver. Utah versus Memphis. And basically in the Atlanta game, and like I said, I'm not going to go over the stats of what this and that. I'm just going to tell you what happened in the game. Now, Atlanta came out swinging, which was expected because you're the underdog, you're in somebody else's stadium, so it's up to you to force the pressure. They forced the pressure by getting the ball in Trae Young's hands, and Herter, he was doing good early, and then you had Bogdanovich wake up. John Collins was okay. I want them to at least get a ball more to John Collins. Atlanta was attacking the Knicks inside. They weren't just settling for three-point shots, which before when they were with Lloyd Pierce, they would settle for the three-point shot a little too much. And Trae would be trying to shoot the three-point ball like damn near half court. So this go around, Trae was playing smart. He actually was playing point guard. He was putting pressure on the defense, putting them on their heels every time. His speed and quickness, oh my gosh, is amazing. Trae Young's his agility is what really killed them because the point guards for the Knicks really aren't that strong to cover a guy like him or Lou Williams off the bench. But Hunter was going in. Trae Young was going into the inside. Hunter, Bogdanovich stepped up. Lou Williams is what they needed more than Rondo. They needed another guy who could come off the bench and score. They got other guys who could get the ball down low when Lou Williams is in the game. They moved the ball. Atlanta's not settling for just giving it to one player or one person. They're trying to give it to everybody. If everybody touches the ball, it's good. DeAndre Hunter, he stepped up and made some big shots for Atlanta. Bogdanovich, if you haven't watched Sacramento Kings games from the past 2-3 years, Bogdanovich was doing the same thing in Sacramento he's doing now in Atlanta. He would hit those big shots and he would put pressure on the defense, which is normal and understandable. Now, here's my thing. The New York Knicks played a great game. At first, their nerves were bad. People got to understand the NBA playoffs is a marathon. It's not a sprint. This is not the NFL. The NFL, you can't make a mistake in the game. If you do, that may cost you the game. That costs you the season. Your season's over with. But in basketball, you can lose game one, or hell, you can lose 2 games in a row. And you still could come back down 2-0. You don't want to get down 3-0 because if you're down 3-0, that's your ass. You're done. You're done. That's historically impossible to come back down from. Now, if you're down 2-1 and then manage to be down 3-1, oh, you could come back easy. It seemed like everybody could come back down 3-1 easier than 3-0. So it's just that I think people are overreacting. Julius Randle played a terrible game. He just had an off game. He will be back. Julius Randle will come back and he will be a lot better. And I think with the Knicks as well, I think Julius needs to work more in the post. He took too many bad shots. tried to force the issue a little too much. He should have just let the game come to him. If your shot's not on, you got to move the ball, and you got to make sure you can make the extra pass as well. But the problem was when at the end the Knicks had him. The Knicks throughout the game was getting hot. Alec Burks, kudos to him. He really handled his own. He did his job. He made big shot after big shot. Emmanuel quickly um, basically stepped up. Derrick Rose stepped up big time. It was beautiful what Derrick Rose was doing. Now, the officiating for both these teams, you know, was terrible. It was terrible. Some of the stuff you gotta let go. The officials need to understand. You've gotta let some of these things go. Especially, I'm gonna talk about it with the Jazz and the Grizzlies because that was just terrible officiating. They let the game get out of hand for a little bit by calling all these these ticky tack fouls. Which was stupid. Now, when we look at it from the offset of this standpoint, the rotations the Atlanta Hawks was beautiful. It was beautiful how they were mixing it around and they were putting guys in different positions to succeed. Trae Young and everything, his ability to push the pace. Now, this is the difference between Trae Young and Steph Curry. This is why I keep telling people they are not the same player. Trae Young is Steve Nash. He's Steve Nash part two. He's a point guard. He just also have the ability to score. He can score as well. He could score, he could shoot, he could pass. His facilitating was amazing throughout the whole game. Getting it to Capella, getting it to Collins, getting it to Hunter. Getting it to Hunter a lot. Also getting the ball to Bogdanovich, finding the open guy. Bogdanovich hitting that corner three in the fourth quarter saved them because they were down 103 100. He hit that shot. He basically tied them up. So when he tied them up, the Knicks, of course, on the other end, Burks missed the bunny shot. Trae Young, what made me upset was he took Frank, when he took Derrick Rose out and put Frank in there. This is what I mean by overthinking, and Popovich has this problem as well that Tibbs have. They're great coaches. They just make sometimes that boneheaded play that makes you be like, man, I would put you as my all-time greatest, but man, you just make this one bonehead play, which he did. He took Derek out and put Frank in the game, who was cold. Frank was cold. You should have left. You should have left Dirk. I mean, not Dirk. Should have left Derrick Rose there. Derrick Rose would have did the job, which was he would have D'd him up. He would have forced Trae Young to go left instead of right. If you let Trae Young get to his right, you're not going to win. It's over. You're done. You have to make him go left because he either is going to shoot it or pass it from the left. But if you get him to his right, he could boogie on you, dribble, and then he goes right because of his speed and quickness. He could get to the second level and throw that floater up there. And also, the Knicks had a tough time. Their bigs have to understand. You have to be able to collapse once Trae Young gets to that second level. Somebody on the back end has to rotate. See, this is the difference between today's defense and back in the day. Back in the day, you were taught how to slide your feet and how to slide to guard the open guy. Not only guard the open guy, but you're able to switch when one of the guys step up. Because when your guy in the post steps up to the mid post, basically almost to the free throw line, but the mid post, he puts his hands up. That'll force Trae Young to either throw it under him, on the side of him, which a guy could creep there, or he throws it out. Most likely, the way they play now, that would have forced Trae Young to throw the ball out, because that's what they do. They get to the hole, they can get it easy too, but they throw it to the corner three, which is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But the New York Knicks, their thing was everybody stepped up. The only person was Randall. Randall only had the bad game. But that'll change. The Knicks are still tougher to me. I think the Knicks still could win this series in 6 games. It might go 7 because they're both young teams and they're both hungry. Atlanta made a statement. You're not just going to run us over. We're not the same Atlanta Hawks. We're not the same Atlanta Hawks from the years before. These guys are hungry. They want to win. Nate McMillan puts them in perfect position to succeed, which is great. The Knicks, Tom Thibodeau has got to stick with his guys. Don't switch up at the end of the game trying to say, oh, well, this is my defensive package, Doc. Frank cannot cover. You have to put Frank in the game and let him get some burn to get his legs up under him. You can't throw him out there cold to guard Trae Young. Trae Young's going to kill him every time. It's not even close. Trae Young's going to boogie on him, head to his right. He's gone. He's to the second level, or he could get the pick or whatever, get to the 3-point line, make his shot, mid range. He can hit the mid range as well. So this is what we have to look out for. And if you're a coach, you don't want to make that dumb mistake by over pursuing or guessing where guys are going to be. The Knicks throughout the game, RJ Barrett, you need to clap for RJ Barrett because RJ Barrett came out there and played like it was no tomorrow. He had a big dunk. He played defense. He got the ball off. Great job from RJ Barrett. I am proud of him, and he has been so scrutinized. Always talked about he needs to be traded, he needs to be let go, but all he does is go out there and play his game. That's all he does is go out there and play his game. That's all he does is play his game. That's all he does. That's all he does. That's all he does. He went out there, he played his game, he showed you, look, I'm the guy. And that's what a number 2 player does. When your number 1 isn't playing well, you step up. Paul George, this is what you need to watch. What RJ Barrett did. RJ Barrett has no playoff experience, but he outplayed you from the beginning to the end. That's what a number 2 does. When your number 1 is down, he's not playing well, you've got to go. You have got to go to you have got to step up. You got to be that guy to say, you know what, I'm finna step up. I'm here to play. And that's the problem that we have with Paul George. Even though he had a better second half, your first half was terrible. Kawhi was carrying the load. But in futures past, when Westbrook was struggling in the late games and all of that, or, you know, Kawhi was struggling last year, you didn't step up. And that's the problem. If you're the number 2 in command, you've got to step up. So RJ Barrett has shown, I'm here to play, I'm here to stay. And I give him a lot of kudos. He really played a great game. I really give a lot of respect to him. Good job, man. Good job in playing. Good job in doing what you had to do. And that's why I said you have got to watch what RJ Barrett is doing. He is a tough guy to guard. Now, the next game for the Knicks to win is don't change your guys. Tibbs, stay with the guys you were playing the whole game. Don't get fancy. When you get fancy, you get burnt like you did by Trae Young. Okay? So the next game, the Knicks just have to continue playing hard. Julius Randle needs to take smarter shots. He needs to take more shots at the mid-range or in the post and get to the basket more. If your shot's off, man, you got to keep going. Now, he hit some big shots at the end, which is great because that's what your leader does. He hits the big shots, and he did. But the Knicks have to play the Knicks down the stretch. They just don't get cute. Just play defense. They play great defense. It's just the Hawks were hot. They just were making shots that normally they would miss if you're playing great defense on them. Because if Bogdanovich didn't hit that shot in the corner, it would have still been 103, 100. The Knicks probably would have went up 105, 100 on the other end, or they would have got fouled. So that's the difference. Can't give up those type of threes. Stay poised. Stay in your position. Don't ever move from your position. Stay, how do I say? Dang, I don't know what that word is. Stay in place. Stay where you're at. Don't be fancy moving around and doing what you got to do. Stay right there. Stay in position. That's what I want to say. Stay in position. And you will make sure that they miss and you will make good plays. Also, you have got to get the ball out of Trae Young's hands. If Trae Young has the ball in his hands, he's going to destroy you because he's going to get to the next level. He's going to dish it to those shooters, and he's going to dish it down low to John Collins. Now, Atlanta, I would try to go to John Collins a lot more down low. You didn't go down low with him a lot. Trae was waving him off too much not to be in the post. Let him be in the post or run a little more pick and roll action with him. He is going to be your X factor. If he goes off, you guys will not have any trouble. Y'all will be fine because Trae's going to get his. Herter's going to get his. Bogdanovich is going to get his. Hunter's going to get his. Capella, Lou Williams off the bench. You know, you have to look for all of it. So, like I said, you know, it's nothing. This game here could have gone either way. You know, so we have to. We just have to. New York fans, just calm down. Valentine, LB, New York is still gonna win this series. It's just probably gonna be in 6 or 7. Now, the next, I give this game a A plus. I give this a A plus. And the reason I give it an A plus is because the reason I give it an A plus is it was entertaining. It was the best game. It was the best game so far until we watched the Utah and the Grizzlies game, which could have been, but if not for the refs, so I'm gonna get into that. But this was an A plus game. It had all of your makings of a great game. It was it was basketball being played. And this is a series that didn't feature LeBrownies. It was a series that featured two rising stars, a bunch of rising stars. RJ Barrett, um, Julius Randle. You had Trae Young and Collins going against each other. The supporting cast really carried this game for both teams, and you got to see real basketball, and it was back in the Garden. We miss basketball in the Garden. Even though I'm a Magic fan, I love the basketball in the Garden because every time we used to travel to play New York, it was live and it felt like the Garden. It was a playoff atmosphere. Trae Young did his best Reggie Miller impersonation at the end, which was cold, by the way. he was like, "Shut up," like quiet, talking trash, doing the bird. Hashtag bird for Ice Trae the game. So I give a shout out to Trae, man. Trae Young balled out. RJ Barrett, Julius, John Collins, Capella on the Hawks, Quickly, Burks, Bogdanovich, and Herder. Lou Williams. He came in and hit some big shots. So this game was an A plus. The whole totality of it, the push, the management of the game, the pace of the game was excellent. The whole game. The refs made some calls down the stretch, which I thought was questionable. That one call they gave to Trae Young when he was fading away, shooting that shot, and he was like trying to lay that shot up. He was barely pushed. It was like a little bump. I wouldn't have called that. It's some of them I wouldn't have called, but it is what it is. The refs have been terrible this playoffs. Now, Utah Jazz versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Where can I begin? Utah punched these guys in the mouth. Utah hit him in the mouth. Once they got hit in the mouth, and then not only that, they got hit in the mouth. If you look at it, Utah was starting off great. Utah hit them in the mouth. The game was going Utah Jazz's way. The problem is this, and this is a message to all the teams, out there. Y'all not going to really listen to this because I have a small base, but still. Your problem is you guys settle for too many goddamn threes. Okay? You have got to stop shooting threes when it's not benefiting you. The 3-point shot was made as a bailout. Like if you had no more options inside or at the mid range, you can hit the three if you're open. But teams back in the day didn't use the three. Even though you had some guys who were great at it, they still tried to get to the next level and get an easier shot. The 3-point line was considered a bad shot. Now today they're talking about it's a great shot. Why? Because that's how they want to promote the game as European. And it just showed you that a team who plays more inside, who leads the league in points in the paint, against a team who leads the leagues in the three-pointer, showed you that the team who goes to the paint wins 9 times out of 10. When the Jazz started going to the hole, to the basket. That's when the Jazz started coming back. That's when they took the lead. That's when they looked good. But then they start selling for them dumbass threes, those DATs, dumbass threes. It was dumb. Then Rudy Gobert, if you ever flop again and you 7-1, I will slap the hell out your like that. What is you doing flopping? Kyle Anderson barely touched you on the sideline. I'm like, nigga, if you don't get your ass up with your soft ass. Morant and Dillon Brooks destroyed Mike Conley and Royce O'Neal. Those guys cannot guard Morant or Dillon Brooks. They can't. That's going to be the matchup problem, is those guys. Jaren Jackson or Josh Jackson, whatever his name is, Jackson, I call him Jackson. He is a matchup nightmare. He could play inside or he could play outside. He could get rebounds. He could defend. He could switch and guard the smaller guards. This Memphis team, I kept telling people all year, is dangerous. If you get them in against the right opponent, they could win. Now, are they going to win? No, they're not. They'll probably take this to 6 games at most, if not 7. But Utah, when they get Mitchell back, I believe they will give them problems. Now, the thing is, Utah could beat them. Utah kept getting inside. Ingles and Bogdanovich have got to get more to the mid-range and inside. The Grizzlies have a tough time guarding guys sometimes off the dribble and off the pick and rolls. Getting to the inside, they have trouble. Rudy Gobert, you have got to be more tougher. You can't be getting punked by Valanciunas or Jackson. You got to stay tough. You got to stay strong. You can't be getting these dumb fouls. You're getting a lot of these dumb fouls. Too many of them. You got to do better. Mike Conley, you got to stop shooting threes. You got to get to the next level. That's how, remember when Memphis, when y'all beat San Antonio, y'all were the 8th seed, they were the 1st seed? Yeah, that's how it happens. Because you guys could get to the next level. Conley, you have to get to the next level. Jordan Clarkson, you got to come in and attack the basket, and then you can start shooting the three. Once you make them honest to you going to the basket, driving to the basket, that'll pull them dogs back. Them dogs will start going near the top of the key a little bit, past to the free throw line. They'll be playing there. Their heels will be right there. And then that's when you can start pulling up from 3 or running your pick and rolls. Also, when you're running your sets, Utah needs to run their sets more to the mid-range and to the inside. This is the problem with Boston. Boston does the exact same thing. They run a lot of their sets and plays to the three-point line. Okay, that's cool when you're hitting, but when you're not hitting, it's time to go to the basket. It's time to go to the mid-range. You have got to be smarter than that. Quinn Snyder got out coached this whole game. And now the foul calls also, they were letting Dillon Brooks get away with a lot of physicality, which is cool to me because I love physicality. Utah got punked. They were getting pushed around. They walked in your house. Memphis slapped your mama, made a sandwich, slapped your daddy, ate the sandwich in front of them, and walked out the house, and then slapped you before they walked out the house. You done let these guys come in your house. Now, what you guys have to do is defensively, you got to get physical back. I always said this to everybody, to young kids who play in the game. It's cool if you're finesse, but sometimes you got to be like, you got to let them nuts drop. If you don't let your nuts drop, a lot of times, dog, you're not going to make it in the game. You're not going to make it. In this series, Utah has got to let their nuts drop. You got to. If you don't, Memphis is going to beat you. Memphis is hungry. Everybody on that team is a dog. Valanciunas did a good job. Jackson, I like when they moved Jackson to the 5. Kyle Anderson he did awesome. His defense on Bogdanovich and also switching on to Ingles. Him and Dylan Brooks were just all over them, knocking them around, getting rebounds, getting to the next level. Dylan Brooks plays old school. He'll get to the mid range or he'll get to the basket. He doesn't settle for threes. This team plays like old school teams do, inside out, which is smart. Morant is a nightmare. He's a matchup nightmare. But how you defend Morant, you have got to body him up. You cannot let him win the physical war. If you let him win the physical war, you're going to lose. You're going to lose the game. It's a fact. That's the truth. So we have got to what they have got to do is next game, Memphis, you have to continue staying aggressive. Your bench is good. I love your bench coming off. Bain did good. He hit some big shots, especially that three at the end of the third quarter. Oh my God, that's when the momentum. It was Memphis got this. When he hit that three, it took the whole air out of the stadium. The whole stadium was mad and quiet. It felt like when Trae hit that last second shot to silence the Garden. Bain hit that shot. That was a great shot. They had some other guys in there. Number 21, he was decent. Grayson Allen, his defense is very intricate. I'm not a fan of his because he was just tripping players in college. If that was a black guy, he would have got kicked out the league. So I do not like Grayson Allen. That's the only black guy for the Grizzlies is they got that punk Grayson Allen. I don't like him. I think he's a punk. I think he's a buster. And if I played in the game, I would punch him in his mouth. Just off of what he has done to players in college, and he got away with it. That's a fact. I don't care what anybody say. He's a scumbag. Dylan Brooks, love him. Plays great defense. Very gets in your head. Was pushing his teammates off of him, and that's what you need. You need a guy like that got dog in him. Him and Morant got dog in them, and I think they got more dog in them than Mike Conley and O'Neal. Donovan Mitchell, I believe, got the same amount of dog in him they got. Mitchell has got to come back. If Mitchell doesn't come back, this is going to be a long series. But I still think the Jazz could win in 6, if not 7. I don't believe Memphis does well at home. I think they have a bad. Let me see. Let me pull it up. Let's see something. Yeah, Memphis is a great road team. They're an okay road team. But at home, they suck. They are 500 at home. So I had to look that up to make sure if I was going to be correct. They're good on the road. They're like the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks, at home, they're good. On the road, they're about even. But yeah. So to me, if the Jazz could win game 2, they could possibly steal 1, if not 2, on the road at Memphis, which I believe they can do. I believe Utah will win the next game, and then I believe they'll win the 2 at Memphis. I think it was mostly rust. I think rust really played a role with Utah. They were really rusty. They were missing shots they usually make. Clarkson was off a little bit. He started catching fire at the end of the third quarter. The end of the second quarter, and the third. Michael Conley was good. I just thought he settled for too many threes. So, yeah. I mean, I give the game a A-. And the only reason I give it an A minus, I take 2 points off the letter grade, is because the officiating was so ticky tack. Look, officials, let these guys play. If they're getting into it, give them guys a double tech, move on. Stop trying to be all nice. And they both were excuse me, the technical fouls where you're just calling it on one person and the other, talking about taunting and everything. That's fine, but you have to control the game better. These refs today have a hard time controlling the game. They do. A hard time controlling it. But like I said, Memphis next game, stay physical, keep attacking the basket, play inside out. But Memphis was making some 3-point shots that they usually don't make. They were hot. They were like Dallas. They were real hot. But Memphis is going to be a problem. Just keep playing the way they're doing. Even if they fall behind, their defense is amazing. Memphis has underrated defense. The way they play, the way they stay stout is what I love about Memphis. That's why I chose them to make the playoffs, and I was right. They were my dark horse to make it. I knew they would by how they played. They got too much dog for Golden State. Morant got way too much dog for Steph Curry. Curry can't handle none of them guys. They got too much dog in them. Now, if they had Klay Thompson, it would have been a different story. Klay could have locked Ja down, pushed him around, because Klay loves to be physical. So, but let me know in the comment section what you thought. Utah just has to come back, play their game. They lost the game, come back, get physical right back, show them we're Utah, we're the #1 seed for a reason, because this is how you earn respect. If you don't go out there and take it, you're not going to earn it. You just got to take your respect sometimes. F if somebody feel you deserve it or not. F that. Go take it. You're built like that. You guys have the #1 team. You guys can do it. Play defense. Get in their grill. I would guard. I would run a 3-4 court press, a three-quarter court press against Morant, and I would stop all that. I would beat him up. I would try to bang him. I would try to bang everybody. Rudy Gobert did okay. Derek Favors came in, did a good job playing against but he's older now. He's not the young Derek Favors. If he was the young Derek Favors, Memphis wouldn't have been able to stop them guys. But Derek Favors come in, do what you're doing, keep being physical. That Nahi guy, that Nain or whatever his name is, I can't think of his name. You can't be shooting threes all day. You got to put it on the floor sometimes. You got to get to the mid-range and lay it up. He plays for Utah. I can't think of his name. Hold on. Let me see. What's his name? Yeah, Nang. George Nang. Yeah, he has got to get to the mid-range if he can and try to make some of those shots. Royce O'Neal, you have got to push Morant to his left. you got to seal him off because he's so quick. The guy could finish with either hand. So he's going to be a problem. You have got to force Morant to stay outside. You've got to force him to shoot threes. You have got to force him to take bad shots. You've got to continue being physical. So let me know in the comment section how you feel about my assessment. Tell me if you saw something different. If you did, please post it. Please be conscious of what you said. Like I've told somebody, I had to put somebody in timeout the last live stream because they kept trolling and doing this. I had to block them and let them know, look, I don't play. Don't come to the page being disrespectful. Give your assessment and move the hell on. This isn't a page for that BS. I'm growing this page for everybody, and I don't block people, and I don't want to block people. But if you come with the dumbness, you will get blocked. All right, thank you for listening. Like, comment, subscribe. Oh, the game is an A. I already said why. I'm A- because of the refereeing, the officiating, too many ticky-tack calls. Needs to get better. But I feel like, yeah, that was a great game. These have been the two best games of the whole series. And again, Utah is showing you, NBA, they are marketable. They had the best game in the bubble last year. Remember Mitchell and Murray? God, you guys are dumb. Stop promoting this old ass relic and start promoting these guys. They're hungry. You should have been promoting Memphis the whole year. But whatever. Like, comment, subscribe, share this, hit the notification bell to select all to receive upcoming notifications. And if you like what you hear, you can donate to the page by Cash Apping me at the word welcome, the number 2, and an HDII TV. Thank you for listening, and we're out. Deezy!